உலகம் யாவையும் தாமுலவாக்கலும் நிலைபெறுத்தலும் நீக்கலும் நீங்களா அலகிலா விளையாட்டுடையார் அவர் தலைவர் அன்னவர்க்கே சரண் நாங்களே. Jai Shri Ram, Namaskar, good evening to all of you, and welcome Shri Rajarajan ji, welcome Dr. Vivek Joshi ji. Thank you so much for joining this program today. I would like to give a small introduction before we start. On this journey from Shilanyas to Bhumi Pujan discussion on the eve of the foundation laying ceremony for a grand temple for Shri Ram Lalla at his Janmasthan in Ayodhya, we speak to two Kar Sevaks on their journey. They come from two different regions of the country, one from Tamil Nadu and one from Maharashtra. Both of them had traveled to Ayodhya in December 1992 and were present at the Janmasthan as Kar Sevaks on 6th December. Shri Rajarajan, employed at that time in a private firm, was the father of a 6-month-old child when he set out as Kar Sevak. Today, he is a retired professional after having spent many years of service in chemical industries at home and in the Middle East. He is actively involved in social work post-retirement and interested in the Indian history. Dr. Shri Vivek Nalgirkar Joshi is MBBS and MD in Physiology, is currently the professor and head at DY Patil University, Navi Mumbai. A young student who had just passed his MBBS, he joined the band of Kar Sevaks to reach Ayodhya on December 1st, 1992. An author and a digital content creator, Dr. Joshi has been associated with the Ayodhya movement from the beginning. So I'll ask both of you first the same question. First, Sri Rajarajan ji, how does it feel? August 5th is going to be a momentous day for the devotees of Sri Rama. How does it feel to witness a day like this, and what are your feelings?
I feel really it is fortunate for us to be present, to witness, to see this Bhumi Pujan for the Ramajan Bhumi after 500 years of hard struggle of our grandparents, ancestors. They sacrificed life. It is our in our life, with our eyes, we are going to see this. This is how I can express this feeling. Really, it is I don't have words to express this. We are so much happy here itself. Even in my town also, I told all the houses they are going to see the Bhumi Puja live telecast in the TV, and also they are doing puja, Ramanama Javam, everything. Because it's really, I feel too much excited, waiting to see this one tomorrow. From the beginning, yes.
Yeah, I belong to a family of religious people who have faith in the Lord Rama, and I have been myself a keen student of history. So I have read the history of all this entire movement, and I have been a part of it myself. So all those struggles and all those sacrifices are finally coming to the fruition. Finally, it's going to be culminating into a grand temple. So it's really happy feeling. Really, it can't be described in words that a grand temple is going to be built at the in Ayodhya, and we really feel that the movement now is now successfully going to culminate into this grand temple.
Is it an emotional moment or just a moment of fulfillment to see that this happen, and is it like happened soon or it has been too late? How would you describe it, Dr. Joshi?
It is really an emotional moment because Lord Rama has been a symbol of national integration, or and is considered to be a national hero. So a grand temple to be built at his birthplace, Lord Sri Rama, and associated with the movement, with long wait and the court battles and all those things happening. Finally, I really feel privileged to see this moment really coming true in my own life. Yeah, it is a very emotional moment for me.
Yeah. Okay. Rajarajandi, how does it feel for, have you spoken to your colleagues, friends, and also those who have been part of this journey with you? How do they feel, and have you been interacting with each other ever since the Supreme Court judgment came up? And did you anticipate this day, that this August 5th is going to happen this soon?
Yeah, when this judgment came, I was in Gulf in a meeting, in a social service. Our Karyakarta, their meeting was there. I was there in Dubai at that time, with the announcement judgment was coming. So all the people, they were eagerly waiting to hear the judgment. So when the judgment came, even the meeting itself was a strictly disciplined meeting. It was also somewhat disturbed because so much excited, enthusiasm from all the hearts of the participants at the meeting. So they were too much happy, and sweets were distributed immediately. It was prepared already. It was distributed, and all people are talking about this only. All the whole land was given to us, and we can build a magnificent temple. Already preparations were done. The stones were cut already there. In Kar Sevak, we know it, but a huge temple is going to come. So immediately we feel that, oh, we are too much fortunate. Our even my father or grandfather, they are not so much fortunate to see this one, and in our life we are fortunate to see this one. We excited and shared this feeling to everybody there, and
Okay.
also after too many phone calls from every places, happy phone calls. It was,
Did
really
you?
excited.
Okay. Did you feel frustrated all those years waiting for the judgment to come? Because even from the Allahabad High Court judgment, which was a partial verdict to say, to a final full bench judgment by the Supreme Court, it's been a long wait. Did you, along the way, feel frustrated, or like this is not going to be resolved, or when will this issue be resolved? Did any of that happen in all those years of waiting?
Little frustration was there because Allahabad High Court told one third will come to Rama Janmasthan construction for Nirmohi Akara and for Muslims organization also. So this was a little frustration. Oh, so much all these things. Why court telling like this? This actually demolished. Mandir was demolished and masjid was built. So it should be corrected. Why then there is too much disturbance by Muslims? All these things. Frustration was there, but final judgment when came, everything was clear, and we are too much happy. Little frustration was there, but when I was telling our friends, anyhow, my inner mind is telling, in my eyes, I will see the grand magnificent temple. In my eyes, in my own eyes, I will see. Like that, I used to tell our friends before. So it is coming true. My dream is coming to true. So it's too much happy. I'm not frustrated. The High Court, Supreme Court judgment. It's, heartily, I welcome this one, and I'm very happy with this.
Dr. Joshi, you said you used to
Yeah.
study all the literature and the related works. So, how did you keep up or follow the trajectory of the dispute and the court cases? And what has been your following up of the issue after 92?
Okay. First, a little bit of history. After independence, what I had read was that in 1949, idols were placed in that structure, and then the next landmark was in 1986 when the locks were opened to that structure, and then the puja was allowed. Then came 1989 when Shilanyas was happening. Um, then 1990 the first Kar Seva, the 1992 the next Kar Seva, but then the court cases. So all these were the prominent landmarks in the journey of this movement, or what I have followed. And then yes, Allahabad High Court judgment. But finally, this particular judgment, I may add, of course, there's a feeling of elation, joy, happiness. that the movement has been successful now. But I also observed one thing which points to the maturity of the society as it grows further. That what I noticed in the society was that even after the judgment, there was, I mean, it could have been a, a bipartisan type, but there was no triumphalism on one side or defeatist attitude on the other side. Both communities accepted it wholeheartedly, and that shows indicates the maturity of the society as well. So society has grown further. So although we as Kar Sevaks felt that yeah, the movement now is successful, it can be considered as successful. Court has pronounced its final verdict, but still, I also at the same time felt this maturity in the society.
And also from then to now we have lot more literature available to study. We have lot more documents, archaeological evidences, and various other things that have come in. Probably we didn't have access to all of them before 1990. Now with probably the internet and various other documents available, even the Allahabad High Court judgment itself becomes like a very valuable document to study and understand the history of the dispute and the whole evidence that was there in front of the court. So, did all of that also help for people to see? Because in 1990, when I remember 89-90, when we were in college when this started, the basic question that everyone would ask, like, do you really need a temple? I don't think that question is valid anymore now, given the kind of evidence that came up in this last 20-30 years.
Yes. There was a talk of dating also, or the use of technology um, to trace back the footprints of a temple which was existing in 11th century probably, and even after this incidents, there were remnants of temple which were found in that site. So there was already an ample proof or evidence that a temple existed on that site, the birthplace of Lord Sri Rama, and therefore historical evidence, the feeling of faith and belief of millions of people. So all that has finally come to fructify in this manner. So yes.
ராஜராஜன்ஜி, நான் தமிழ்லயே ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்கிறேன். ஏன்னா வந்து இந்த ராமர் அண்ட் நம்ம வந்து நிறைய பார்க்குறோம். இந்த தெய்வம் வந்து தமிழ் தெய்வமா, இந்த தெய்வம் தமிழ் தெய்வம் இல்லையா, இப்படின்னு எல்லாம் நிறைய வந்து நம்ம ஊர்ல பேசிக்கிறோம். We talk about whether Rama is a Tamil god or not, whether Murugan is a North Indian god or not, and these kind of discussions keep happening. ஷிலன்யாஸ்ல ஆரம்பிச்சு இன்னி வரைக்கும் தமிழ் சமுதாயத்துல இந்த ராமர் வழிபாடு பற்றியான அந்த எண்ணங்கள் எப்படி மாறி இருக்கு? நீங்க அன்னைக்கு ஆரம்பிச்சதுக்கும் இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிறதுக்கும் நீங்க பார்க்கக்கூடிய வித்தியாசம் என்ன? கோவில்கள்னு பார்த்தா when we see we have evidence of the oldest existing Rama temple record wise coming from North Tamil Nadu. But anyhow in society we've had discussions, ராமர் வந்து தமிழ் தெய்வமா இல்லையா அப்படின்னு எல்லாம் சொல்லி அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு இது பார்த்திருக்கோம். அந்த சமயத்துல வந்து நீங்க ஷிலன்யாஸ்ல ஆரம்பிச்சு கர்சேவால் அத்தனை பேர் தமிழ்நாட்டுல இருந்து கலந்துக்கிட்டு இன்னைக்கும் வந்து நிறைய ராமர் கோவில் வழிபாடு நிறைய அதிகமா இருக்கு அன்னில இருந்து இன்னி வரைக்கும். சோ அன்னைக்கு நீங்க வந்து பார்த்தது என்ன? இன்னைக்கு தமிழ்நாட்டுல நீங்க ராமர் வழிபாடு பற்றி, இந்த ராமர் கோயில் பத்தின இதுக்கு உண்டான வரவேற்பை நீங்க பாக்குறது எப்படி இருக்கு?
I can tell in English also.
Yes, you can. Yes, in both. Yes.
In 1971, when I was studying in 7th standard or something, at that time in Salem, nearby my town, Salem town, E.V. Ramasamy, on the Nastiyavadi, he performed this Ram Lalla, Ram Shila, Ram Vigraha and Sita Devi Vigraha and the jeep, and putting this garland of chapels and then beating and abuse. All the people's, this procession was there. All the Hindu people, this bhaktas, they were standing on the roadside and they are shedding tears. Nobody opposed it. But now the situation is not like this. Even if they spoke something about against Rama, people are again agitating. The situation changed. But this is not happening just like that. There is some movement, some works going underground to make this change to see above. So like an earthquake, when seeing the earthquake, then only we will come to know there is some big movement under the ground. So like that, now if anybody started abusing to Hindu gods or Shri Rama, people are agitating. That means people's mind have changed, not like this before, not like before. So this is happening slowly. Before Ramshila Pujan happened, at that time we took the Ramshila bricks to all the villages, taking the small chariot and taking all the villages, organizing people to do puja and Ganga Mata puja. Many pujas like this we are organized. We have organized when I was in Thoothukudi at that time. And secondly, you told Rama's first established is from north. It is from south. It's Ramanatha Swami.
No. I said not North Tamil Nadu. The record wise, the first earliest temple we get from records is from North Tamil Nadu. I didn't say North India, North Tamil Nadu.
That also, it is South Tamil Nadu. Ramanatha Swami, Sita Devi, by her own hand, she built this Shivalinga, Ramanatha Swami. From there only, he went to Sri Lanka to with Ravana. So this is this place is very much associated with Shri Ram, Tamil Nadu. Many places in Tamil Nadu, many places we can show, all of the Bharat we can say, but particularly in Tamil Nadu, Shri Ram's association with Tamil Nadu is too much in South Tamil Nadu, near Rameswaram area. Rameswaram, Ramanaswamy, everything comes from Rama name only. So it is too much associated, and because of that one of the reason people are having bhakti on Rama, and throughout Tamil Nadu, even Kamba Ramayana there, Ottakotha Ramayanam there, and Rama Bhakti is everywhere there. But people are not strong enough to oppose the opposition. But now not like this. Now the situation changed, and Rama Bhakti is everywhere there. Even Sri Andal, Sri Vilibuthu, Sri Andal, her character was a little, what is called, in the bad way, it was told by one.
Yes.
And people got agitated immediately. So now the situation changed, and this is because of the work of many Hindu organizations like Hindu, many organizations in Tamil Nadu, Dharma Rakshana Samiti, many organizations working in Tamil Nadu, Rashtra Sevak, and all are there working. So people are now getting realized and feeling now. That's what I feel.
Did your association start from the Shilanyas time? Were you part of the Shilanyas movement, and were you around in the movement when the early Kar Sevaks in 1990 happened?
Before that, I was not associated because I was not aware of this. Only Ram Shila Pujan, at that time only I came into these activities. But Ram Shila, before that I was a member of RSS and I was doing all same activities, many things. But for Rama Janmasthan Mandir, Ram, and this works for my life, I started with Ram Shila Pujan.
Dr. Joshi, how did you get associated with the Ram Janmasthan movement?
I remember 1983 there was some incidents in Meenakshipuram, and after that this movement gained momentum. There was it was spearheaded by VHP, Vishwa Hindu Parishad that time, and there was a yatra by Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and all us the devotees of Rama, and coming from a larger ideological parivar, we got naturally associated with this movement. And then of course there was bricks. They were collected from each village and were being sent to Ayodhya for the construction of the temple. So the programs which were conducted, or the small or large gatherings and events organized, so it took a momentum slowly. And finally, in '89, I think it was an election year. That time, Shilanyas happened. I was, I think, from 1984 onward, I have been associated. And I think '89, that famous Palampur resolution by Bharatiya Janata Party, that is when it really gathered momentum. It really gathered steam after that, because the political party, in its pronouncement, taking up this as an issue, it really gathered steam after that. and she advantage the Rath Yatra. So it was immensely, it gathered huge crowds. That is how the momentum built up. I have been on and off associated with that movement. Uh, and then 92, of course, December 92, when we were asked to come to Ayodhya for the Kar Sevak. So 1984 onward, those were the very young days and impressionable minds. So, and of course, coming from a religious family, so we naturally got associated with the movement. So that's how my association dates back.
Okay, but how was it as a student to be seen as associated with the movement? Because how was the rest of the group or classmates, or how did they view it, and what was it to be like holding on to this faith to the moment when what I could see from my campus days have been largely like opposition students were like largely opposed to it, with very few supporters that you can find, which is like a handful from among the student community that I could see. So, in that circumstances, how would you look at your association?
Okay. Well, I have also experienced this that those days at least the elite, the so-called elite, was not so much in the favor of this movement because of the whatever secular principles that they might have been espousing, and therefore there was a thought process that devotion to Rama is somehow anti something, and therefore it will create divide in the society, which will, which cannot heal. Um, in fact, I remember there was a speech by a political leader to just narrate how Ram is a unification force. He used to take the names of all the political leaders to suggest that Rama has been the common thread in all of us. He would say in Tamil Nadu it becomes Ramachandran, in Karnataka it becomes Ramakrishna, in Andhra it becomes Ramarao, in Maharashtra it becomes Ramarao, and in North India it becomes Ramasingh. So he would take all the names of the political leaders to say that Ram is a symbol of uh, unity. I mean, it's a symbol of unification rather than dividing the people and all that. So yeah, but we it used to take a lot to convince my peer that Ram should be considered as a national symbol, national hero, rather than just restrict it as a narrow religious spectrum, and everybody should take part in this movement so that there is no us versus them kind of a divide in the society. So yes, but there was a lot of opposition from the elite. There is a lot of opposition from the educated youth, thinking that this is a divisive movement. Many people also said that since the BJP has come into the picture, it is solely for the political purposes, nothing else, and therefore a lot of opposition I faced initially in the campuses.
Okay, so you talked about politics and how people looked at it as only as a political movement from the time BJP came into picture, and the last 20, 30 years it has been looked at only as a political movement, giving yielding political dividends to the party which took it up. And you also talked about the leadership, which made you feel that this is not a divisive movement, but it is a unification movement. Has people who have been involved in the movement, like you, been able to hold on to this thread that this is an important renaissance moment for Hindus, and we should hold on to it without thinking about the political dividends to say that this movement had healed? Did you feel like that politics is taking away what we are doing here as devotees or as volunteers?
Yes, because the movement has been going on for last at least 30, 40 years that we have seen, and since a political party was later on spearheading the movement, it was always teased. There was a slogan also by the opponents saying that mandir wahi banayenge, lekin tarikh nahi batayenge. That means just to say, suggest that oh, it's just a political narrative that is being built up for the vote bank politics, nothing else. But we had this faith that Lord Rama will eventually will I mean this movement is going to succeed on the basis of faith of millions and millions of Hindus. So yeah, I mean political connotations were there to this movement, uh, but then it was not only limited to the political arena. Ram is the ethos of this nation. This nation has been culturally one for thousands of years, and therefore it should not be seen from a narrow prism of any religious bigotry or any political motive attached to it. And that's why we had this faith and belief that yes, Ram will build his own temple eventually, and that is happening in our lifetime. So yeah.
Okay. Rajrajanji, if you can also tell us about the kind of leadership you had in Tamil Nadu when you were part of this movement, and how you looked at it in terms of what it was doing to the building of Ram Temple. Because in Tamil Nadu, as you said, like we were very, very well aware of the Rama temples. If you look at the bronzes, we have the Vadur Rama, who's one of the most beautiful Rama bronze you can find anywhere in the world, and we've had Madurantakam temple or Tirupulani, or so many of the Rama temples that we were aware of. But when we go to Ayodhya and to see, like we come from a place where there are such magnificent temples to Shri Rama, but in his own birthplace, like Ayodhya, when we go and see, like he was sitting under a shanty which was put up, that was the kind we saw. But of course, earlier on when the movement started, even that was not there. The first work was towards to go and get the temple or the masjid locks open, so that people, devotees, will get an entry to go and have a darshan. That is how it started. So what was it, what was the kind of leadership you had, and what kind of inspiration you had to be part of this movement and to look at this Ram temple movement as a renaissance moment for the Rama devotees or the Hindus?
Politically, there was no support for our activities. Ramshila Pujan, for all our activities, there is no support from politics. No, political leaders are against these activities. But at the time, there was no internet. Even telephone is very rare thing. Only telegram was there, and it is not reaching everybody. WhatsApp is not, no internet. So even if they oppose it, but it's not, opposition is not reaching to the people. But we people are working directly with the people. Political leaders would like announce this one, this will come to the newspaper, and newspaper it will not reach everybody. So we were directly contacting the people, having direct touch with the people, and we are explaining everything and developing this what is called the bhakti, Rama bhakti, increasing the Rama bhakti in the minds of our people. So this was working. Political support was not there. But 1990, it was opposition. When going to Kar Sevak, I did not go to Kar Sevak in 1990. I went to 1982 only. So first Kar Sevak at the time, government was opposing. But second Kar Sevak, 1992, Jayalalitha was chief minister, and she closed her eyes. You want to go, go. If you don't want to go, leave it. Like that, she was closing her eyes. And there was no, actually there is no opposition when going for Kar Sevak from Tamil Nadu. So in the train also we freely traveled, and our Hindu Mani leader came to the railway station and blessed us for the success. And many, and it was free. And it was also widely talked by the society about going to Kar Sevak, this day going to Kar Sevak, like this. People are talking, everywhere talking. In the newspaper also it came. But the political opposition was there, but opposition was not reaching the people. It was situation.
Okay. How did your family feel? What was the kind of reaction from your family when you left for Kar Sevak in 92?
At that time, my wife, my first child was, I have two children, daughters. First daughter was 6 months old. She was in Tiruchi. I was in Thuthukudi. Some 15 days before leaving, there was a big flood near the Tiruchendur, near Thuthukudi, big flood. So we all people went to seva activities, flood relief seva activities. At that time, there was a call from Vishwagandha Parishad. Kar Sevak is there. Those who want to come, join them like this. So immediately we asked, the people asked, our Karyakarta asked, who are all want to go, who are all want to go to Kar Sevak, Ayodhya. Immediately I raised my hand because I want to go to Ayodhya. Because in my mind, I want to see the place. Well, there is one more reason for that. Before Kar Sevak, before 1990, in 1990, before first Kar Sevak, I went there once with my wife for darshan, Ayodhya darshan. At the time, I saw the masjid, Babri Masjid structure. Inside, all the 16 pillars were Hindu temple pillars. The Vigraha is there. Some people put some oil also, butter or oil, something. They put in the Vigraha, Hindu Vigraha. All the temples are, all the pillars are Hindu temple pillars. And only the Gopuram was not there, only the dome was there. 3 domes were there. Inside everything, Hindu temple structures. We went to the darshan and we went puja and came back. So that is why inside me also there is one eager to go for Kar Sevak. First Kar Sevak 1990 when it happened, I was in Surat. I was working in OITC Surat at that time. So my wife alone was there. I cannot leave her. So I did not go there. Second Kar Sevak 1992. At the time I was working in the flood relief activity. At the time they called, immediately I raised my hand. So they told from Tamil Nadu, from Thoothukudi district, around 38 Kar Sevaks, they came forward. So they told me to lead this 38 swims, Kar Sevaks. After some 1 or 2 days, they told from Kanyakumari 41 coming, from Tirunelveli 40 people coming, all the 123 people you have to lead and take this. They told me. So I told no problem. Only problem is my Hindi, I cannot speak. I don't know Hindi. But some people are there, Hindi speaking people with me. They will help me and we can manage. We told, and then we left. And then at that time, I called my telephone was there at my house. Somewhere I called my father and told, I am coming in this train. This train will cross Tiruchirappalli junction at night 1:20. Midnight 1:20 it will come. Please take my wife, mother, and children all come to station. Because I have doubt, maybe I may not come back. Maybe I come back, maybe I not come back. Because 1990 incident I remember. Many Kar Sevaks are shot dead. So anything may happen. Even though Kalyan Singh is there, what will happen military, I don't know. So I told, call them. I want to see them all. They were waiting at the railway station. Night 1:20. Train reached Tiruchi railway station. I immediately came out of the compartment. I did the Sashtanga Namaskar for my parents. My father, tears coming. He knows I'm going to Kar Sevak. So he was afraid. So he was not telling anything. My mother is very bold because she suffered the Independence Day riots. After independence, Muslims, she was born and brought up in Bangalore. So his brothers, his uncles were going with a knife only all the time because Muslims attacking and he has to safeguard themselves. So she knows the pain of Independence Day riots. So she told him, naturally he is patriotic. So she told my son, go and come back successfully. She told, and put the tilak also. Nothing there in the hand, but she put like this. Tilak also. My wife, she doesn't know anything. Where I am going, why I am going, when I will come back, she doesn't know anything. So she was blinking like this. So I told everybody and kissed my daughter and come back to train. This is my family reaction at the time. And all my friends, they are also having different experiences from their family. Some people they cried, some people they don't know, the people they blessed. Like this, all the people they shared the experience. This was the experience my family showed. But I did not tell any other relatives. Only my parents and my wife I told. No other people I told. But my many friends in speak to I was working at that time. Many people they know I am going for Kar Sevak.
What about you, Dr. Joshi? How did your
Yeah, I
family
remember
react to it?
my family, all the male members of the family were already heading towards Ayodhya for the Kar Sevak. And therefore, already that background was there, the ideological, religious background. So they were all there, they were all very happy. But I remember a few things which I may add here. Why was 6th December selected as the date? This is just a little background. because many a times a misinformation is spread that 6th December is Mahaparinirvan and therefore it is selected for wrong purpose, but it's not the case at all. 6th of December on that year was the Gita Jayanti. So the date was selected because Gita Jayanti fell or occurred that day. 6th of December 1992 was because selected because of the Gita Jayanti. That's the first thing that many people tend to forget because it also falls on the Mahaparinirvan day. Therefore, people tend to have some misinformation about it. That's why 6th of December. The second thing is, uh, we residing in Mumbai, we are not aware of winter season. We know only heat and more heat. That's it, and sometimes monsoon. But we are not aware of any winter or cold season. So when I started my journey, and there were others also, uh, I was not carrying anything to keep me warm. There was hardly any not the normal clothes because I we didn't know the winter season how it is like. But somebody who was from that region, he just asked me casually, "What are you carrying?" It's December. It's going to be winter season and extremely cold. I said, "Yeah, cold means what? What could be the temperature?" He said, "It's so much cold that your intestines will shiver." This is what he said. I still remember the expression that he used. I said, "Now I've started my journey, and now I can't go back home and collect the woolen sweaters or something. Now I'll see. Let's see what happens." But yes, our tent was on the banks of Shariu River, so it was an open space. And because it was an open space, the nights used to be terrible. I've never experienced before that. Till that point of time, I've never experienced such a uh, cold in my life, and really, it was a shivering experience. But yes, there was the bhakti for Lord Shri Ram, and therefore that was the only thing mattered that time. And the other thing that I remember from Atalji's speech, Atalji had said, remember, it was the days preceding to the 6th of December. He said, "Remember, you are going to Ayodhya and not Lanka." So I don't know why he would say that. It is Ayodhya, a yudh, something like that, where there is never a yudh played out actually. So uh, just you're not what the background behind it was that 4th of December, there was a judgment expected of Allahabad High Court, and the judgment was supposed to have been giving the non-disputed land to the Hindus to start the Kar Sevak, and then uh, from then on the things would have been taken forward. That was the understanding that time, that the 4th of December the judgment will come. Mostly it will come in the favor of the Hindu organizations for a non-disputed land, undisputed. I mean, outside that 2.77 acres, the undisputed area will be given, and uh, uh, some sort of construction can happen. And of course, uh, 4th of December, we were waiting, but the judgment was postponed till 12th of December. So the Kar Sevaks then started becoming restless. Now what? Actually, it was supposed to be a construction at starting from a non-disputed
Dispute
site.
side.
Yes, uh, but then since the judgment hasn't come and the land hasn't been handed over, what do we do then? So, but that's why I mean that's the background for the Atalji statement. You are not going to Lanka. You are not going for destruction. Those were all sobering words, of course. But then, what to do next? We were told. So now the Kar Seva is going to be just collect sand from the
Saryu.
river, Shariu River, and uh, put a fistful of sand there at the site and leave. Your Kar Seva will be over. That is what we were told. That is what we are going to perform. And so from the 2nd of December till 6th morning, There used to be bhajans, kirtans, and speeches by the religious leaders, and so on. So that was the background build-up. But one thing that I really remember from those days was the massive cold that we were shivering with. The Mumbaiites never used to such type of cold. But the bhakti in the heart for Maryada Purushottam Ram, Shri Ram, Lord Ram, and all the ideals of Ram that will ensue with the building of this temple, all those noble thoughts, we had gone there, but the events unfolded in a different way on that day, of course.
I'll come back to it.
Yeah,
You talked about cold. Coming from deep south, Rajarajanji, it must have been even more tougher because we don't witness anywhere near what
yeah,
Ayodhya would witness in terms of the temperature. You have the issue of language, you have the issue of the weather, plus you also have the issue of food. I know it can be like very, very difficult when you are going from deep south to north, because you don't get so all that. It was quite a large contingent at the time who went from Tamil Nadu. It was not like a very small group. So what was it like, and what did you face? How was it to be in Ayodhya then, and what did your team go through?
I think November 1992, November 29 or 30, we left from Chennai. One train full of Kar Sevaks, no other people. All are Kar Sevaks only. We left, and our leaders came and blessed and gave sent off. Throughout the travel up to Allahabad, up to Allahabad, we came by train. After that, we came out, and then they arranged some other train from there. Throughout the journey up to Allahabad, all the stations, wherever the train stopped, all the stations, people are pumping chapatis and sabjis through all the windows. It is too much there. We cannot eat too much. So that much supply was there. People are too much supporting every station. Water all is supplied free. Chapati free, sabji free, whatever, everything free. Like that. And it was huge encouragement for the Kar Sevaks. We went there. November 1st, we entered Ayodhya.
December
And when,
1st.
December
December
1st, we
1st.
entered. December 1st. At that time, what we experienced, there are too much military there, PSC, the Provincial Armed Constabulary. This all there, they told me. But when they entered the Ayodhya station, the PSC Jawans, they were lying on the track, near the track, they were lying, sleeping, because no place there for them. They were sleeping. When every train coming, they told, Jai Shri Ram. They welcoming the train, Kar Sevaks. Jai Shri Ram. And PSC people and paramilitary people, all people, even police, everybody welcomed the Kar Sevaks. They are supporting. We entered, and we were told to stay in one ashram. And the ashram, the Swamiji, he told me 2 years before, when Kar Sevak done here, these ditches, small ditches in the side of the road, blood was running like water. It was blood was running. And the tomato basket, if it crushed and sprayed on the road, how it will be? The flush was like this on the road. When Mulayam Singh was there, 1990, at that time it happened, the seat was like this. He told me, well, really, our heart was paining too much. So that much Kar Sevaks were suffering 2 years before. But this within 2 years, how much big change is there? Mulayam Singh was our chief minister. So too much changes were. And after some time, they shifted us to another ashram. The ashram told, Swamiji told, go, before going to Kar Seva, pray this samadhi, he told. There was some samadhi. He told, there was one Swamiji before, the head of the mutt. The Swamiji, he will not speak, he will not speak, very occasionally he will speak. Many multi-millionaires are coming and standing in the queue to see him. Have a darshan only. Sometimes he will speak, many times he will not speak. They will return back without hearing anything. But having darshan is enough for him. That much great Swamiji, he will never go out of the mutt, always staying inside. But 1990 Kar Seva, he was one of the man who is taking the saffron flag at the door. And the police shot him and his dead body fell down. The Swamiji's dead body. So how much, what is called, angry in his mind, in his heart he was holding so much. So his samadhi was there. Pray to him, and you will get success. He told us. That person Swamiji at the time he told that we prayed and we went there. And every day night meeting was there. Food was supplied, South Indian food, North Indian food, any places, 6-7 places, food was huge, tent was there, supplying, whoever want to take food, anywhere they can take, like this. And we were taking, as Dr. Joshi told, I was not prepared for the severe cold. So within 3-4 days, cough started for me. Severe cough. The cough itself always going here and there, taking bath in Sarayu Nadi, and then the severe cold. And then coming. At that time, one daily night, when the meeting was there, Dr. KSS, he was conducting the meeting. Sudarshan. He was when the conducting meeting, he was telling instruction then and there, he was giving the instruction. As Swamiji, Dr. Ji told, the judgment day was postponed. It was postponed the 5th, and then they told the 6th. Then they told, we are postponing our Kar Sevak. One day, like this. And they told December 10th only we will declare the judgment. So naturally, the people got angry. How many days we will be waiting? He want to do Kar Sevak like this. At that time, they told, simply, as Dr. Ji told, simply put the sand. This is also Kar Sevak. Don't imagine you are building it, demolishing like this. Simply doing. But one thing, don't forget, tomorrow's Kar Sevak will be recorded in golden letters in your life. He told. What he is telling, simply putting the sand is enough, he told, and recorded the golden letters in your life. What is telling? We don't understand. But next day only we came to understand. But 1 week before, December 1, first we entered, December 2nd, one Adhikari came and asked, who are all having brothers, own brothers? Okay, some people raised their hand. I also raised their hand. Okay, all people come. Only one man, only one boy in your family, for your parents, stay away. Other people come. Then he asked, who are all married? Yes, married people, stay here. Non-unmarried people, okay, come here. Married people, you are having children? Yes. You are having boy? Yes. Okay, come. You are having no boy, only girl? Okay, you cannot come. Because they are very careful, the hereditary chain should not cut. Because the risk is there. So those people, they are willing to come, they were taken on the 2nd December to somewhere else, nobody knows where they are. But I understand they were giving proper training to jump and demolish the building, even risking their life. One of my friends also went there from Thoothukudi. I met him on the December 6th only, after that. So daily we are coming and hearing the news surrounding this Ram Janmasthan structure, everything. And GI pipeline and this Bulveli, what is we can say, this iron fence, everything there. We cannot go inside. On December 6th, early morning, all people went to Sarayu Nadi, severe cold, took bath, and the towel itself, we take some sand, putting on the head, and coming to our place, and the ground, around this Babri Masjid structure. And I was given in charge for the 123 people, I cannot leave these people. Even if I want to go home, I cannot go. So at the stage, Advani ji, Ashok Shingal ji, Uma Bharati, Murli Manohar Joshi, Vinay Katayar is Bajrang Dal organizer. All people were there and they were talking. At the time, around 12:30, suddenly some disturbance was there in the crowd. There was a big tree around this Babri Masjid structure, and some people climbing on the tree and jumping inside this fence, near the door. Military, police, everything, everybody, they are shouting, come down, don't go. Advaniji was speaking on the dais, and he is telling, don't go there, come out. But it was understood that even if I say like this, you should go inside. There was understanding, because it was trained, their people are trained people. So when he is telling, don't go inside, you should not do like this, you are doing simple Kar Sevak, don't do anything, demolish, don't demolish, like that, he's repeatedly appealing. But people are jumping inside, there is an Adhikari there, instruction, go there. Once they go inside, all the people, they want to go inside. All the Kar Sevaks want to go inside. But I also want to go inside. But what to do? I was in charge for 1 to 3 people, I am controlling all the people. So after 2 hours, they told them, don't control anybody, leave it. So all people started jumping inside. Many people, even in the fence, the sharp fence, they are going inside, blood coming out the body. They are coming inside. Some people, they broke the GI pipes and take the pipes as a tool. And they went inside. And the military, paramilitary, or police, everybody, they gave way and left the place. and they are just witnessing only. All the people went inside and started demolishing. One by one, doom is falling down. People are shouting, "Oh, don't stand on the doom; it is going to fall down." Even they are not afraid of their life. They are standing outside, and when the dome is falling down, they jumped out. One of them fell inside and died also. But they are not afraid. All the domes fell down. When the backside wall was there, this wall fell down at evening 6:30 because the wall was very strong, and even people they put a rope on this and then pulling. Thousands of people pulling, and then even 6:30 it fall down. After that, we started removing the debris, everything. And surprisingly, when we dig from the standing platform inside this structure, there was a big stone chakra, stone, and also some wings of Garuda. All were there because these people, the Mirbaki Babari people, they purposely put their holy structures under their foot to do namaz. It was a great insult. So we took all these stones and gave it to Vishwanath Parishad Karyalaya there, and we handed over. After that, we digged and started providing this new astiva for the structures, a temporary structure, three U-shaped structure. We made it, and brick wall we made it up to 5 foot. We made it, and then morning 3:30, 3 o'clock, Ram Lalla Vigraha was Ram Lalla Lakshman Sita the Vigraha was there, placed, and then rose color, pink color silk cloth was laid on the top as a roof, and then started puja. All the incoming routes were cut because the deep cut was there. Because anytime some military may come and object like this, we prepared, everything prepared. So morning 3:30, suddenly a big military van came near the structure. The people are doubting. These people are going to attack us. So immediately we took the weapons and ready to attack them. But their people came out and they removed the shoes and then came and do the puja, and they are offering also the first offering given by these people. They offered and then offered money and then prasad and then left. So Rama Bhakti is everywhere, not only in Kar Sevak, everywhere Rama Bhakti is there. So all the military people, all the police people, and suddenly they came from, I don't know, the military people are the military van they came. And then they do that. And one more, two experience, I must tell. That day evening, Ayodhya Nagar, all the streets, all the houses, they put rangoli in the front of the house and then lit the lamp and giving this white color prasad, like candy prasad. Sweet candy. They are giving prasad because they were so much happy. All the houses, not even missing a single house. All the houses they put a call of rangoli and then lamping and then give prasad. And this is one incident. Another incident, there are some people who were dancing on the street with wooden chappals, purchasing and wooden chappals. They told for more than 450 years, we never used chappals. My grandparents, nobody used chappals. When the structure was destructed, demolished for 450 years before. At that time, our ancestors vowed when the Rama Janmasthan Mandir is coming again, then only we will use chappals. Till then, we will not use chappals. That day, 1992, December 6th evening, these people, they were wearing these wooden chappals and dancing, so much happy. So, because they are telling our ancestors now, their soul will be peaceful. They are telling, I heard this voice from their own mouth. So, this much experience, this much enthusiasm that day. I stayed in the next day also, December 7th evening, I left Ayodhya. Because anything may happen, they told us to stay there. We stayed, and then December 7th, we left. And this experience, we cannot, even when I telling, my hands are shivering. I am telling my friends, this structure, brick structure for the temporary Ram temple, right side corner, some bricks, I put this and cement at this one. That's why I'm telling my friends, my whole body, if even because of my what I did sin, because of my papa, the whole body, if it goes to Naraga, even Naraga also, my only these 10 fingers will go to Swarna. Because these 10 fingers put some bricks for the Ram temple. This is what I'm telling my friends. That much punya this 10 fingers have done. This is my strong belief. So, this is my experience there. Really, when I come back also, I took two bricks I don't know whether I can tell or not. Two bricks, the structure, demolished structure, two bricks I came. These bricks, English letters were there. It was not built, this structure was not built by Babri Masjid. It was demolished in 1980 something. And then the collector Nicholson of Faisabad, he ordered to rebuild this structure. This is not Babri Masjid, it's Nicholson Masjid. What was demolished was Nicholson Masjid.
So
This
the bricks
masjid,
had the bricks
this,
had English letters in it.
yeah,
The bricks
English
had
letters
English
were there.
letters.
English letters, one oval shape, and some three letters were there. Some I forgot the letters. Two bricks I brought. I told my father these two bricks were from this demolished structure. He was too much angry. One brick he took, and he was constructing a house at Thoothukudi. He put under the toilet one brick. This is the right place for them because they put the holy structure under their need food for the namaz. That structure building, the brick should be. This is the correct place. They put under the one toilet. And second building they constructed in my place now, present place, and the second brick was under the toilet of present house. This is what my father did because too much angry he was. This is my experience. What many things I can tell, but I don't know what to do.
Dr. Joshi, there are like different versions we get when we speak to different Kar Sevaks. Some have talked about like how they had no clue about what happened on December 6th. There was no planning as such that there would be a destruction that day, and they had no clue, and there was no awareness of any such to happen. And there was also restraining talks by leaders. In fact, one of them had quoted Sahakari Vak of that time, Shri Sudarshan, Seshadriji, asking people to get down from the domes and to have restraint, to not do anything. And from what we heard right now and all that, what did you see? What was the experience? And was there an awareness of what was going to happen that day, or most people were not aware of what was going to happen?
Yes, there was no. I mean, from what I saw, there couldn't have been a planning like that because I remember uh, there was a there was a written affidavit given by UP government, Kalyan Singh government in the Supreme Court that the structure we will not touch the structure. And then when all this began, I mean, there was puja going on at the that 2.77 acre land at the site, and around about 11:30 or 12, uh, uh, a group of Kar Sevaks, they were getting agitated because the movement had reached its crescendo. It had reached its peak, and they knew at the back of their minds now there is not a hostile government, there is a friendly government at the state at least, and therefore here is the structure which we have been hearing about, and therefore that agitated group of Kar Sevaks really started as was described earlier, that they jumped on the tree, and from the tree they would jump on the domes of the structure. But then as more and more crowd started jumping on the domes, there was a possibility that the structure or the dome will come down and people will get injured. That possibility was there. In fact, some people were getting injured by falling off. So I heard the leaders on the dais actually saying this. Hove Sheshadri, that time I think it was Sarakaryava, and he actually appealing to the Kar Sevaks uh, to just come down because the structure is likely to fall and you are going to get injured. Uh, so most of the leaders were saying, appealing to the Kar Sevaks to not touch destroy the structure further. Just come down. It's going to be we have assured it in the Supreme Court that it's going to be a peaceful Kar Seva, and we won't touch the. So yes, it couldn't have been a planned thing because planning there was almost a mob of 2 lakh Kar Sevaks, and if there is a pre-planned activity like this, uh, most of the people would have known about it, I guess. But there's just a group of Kar Sevaks who had some something some agitation, and they wanted to let off that steam of anger, because of the all this that had happened in the preceding years, particularly 1990. Kar Sevak was violent, so anguish, sorrow, all those things, mixed emotions, and therefore when they saw the structure, they were agitated, and that is how it all started. There couldn't have been a planning like that. Um, yeah, I mean that debate has always occurred after the incidents, whether it was really pre-planned. But I tell you my personal experience after all this has happened, after all that happened that day. In the evening, when we came back to our tents, uh, there was Mumbai Mahanagar Kareva. He was seated in his corner, one corner, very quiet, and all others, all around him, were rejoicing that okay, that it was a symbol of our gulami, and therefore it was demolished today, and we will create a Ram temple now, and all that. So everybody was elated, all happy and joyful mood, cheerful. But this person, and I reckon most of my ideological leanings have been because of him, Basanta Tambe. He was seated in one corner and he was completely quiet and very serious. He wouldn't look happy at all. So I asked him, "Why are you not looking happy? I mean, everybody looks happy that the structure for which this dispute was happening now it's not there, and now that a temple can be built there." He said, "Look, we as a larger parivar is known to be disciplined soldiers. So, if our leaders are telling us to do something and we are not doing it, whatever happened to our discipline then?" The other point that he said, that whether we decided and we planned and did this, then whatever happened to those that Maryada Purushottam Ram, Ekvachani Ram, we have given vachan in the Supreme Court that we will not touch the structure. So what happens to that vachan then? So either ways, I feel a little scared about a setback to the ideology. That was really an eye opener for me. That's how I knew that okay, this must not have been planned. Certainly not by the top level leadership. Not certainly not. It could have been the agitated Kar Sevaks who have been associated with the movement, and that group of Kar Sevaks might have provoked that sight that the people are now finally climbing the structure, might have provoked the others to join in, and that is how it went out of control. I mean, there was hardly any, not much of a police force also there. Um, so I would say this was not a planned act. That's for sure. I mean, certainly not by the top leadership. They were uh, they were actually asking the car Sevaks to come down and not go ahead and demolish it.
Yeah, but what got highlighted in the media was like this one slogan from Uma Bardiji, which is quoted very often, "Ek dakka aur do," and that is how people started going. But did people also hear what Seshadriji was saying or other leaders were saying? Were you able to hear? Did that message
Yes,
reach?
that dais was hardly 500 meters away from us, where all the leaders were present, and Hove Sheshadriji was appealing in all the languages. In fact, he knew I I know he knew almost 10 to 14 languages. So he was appealing in different languages to different Car Sevaks coming from different regions to just come down. So yeah, we could hear that, but that pitch was raised so high. It was a fever pitch by then that the mob became uncontrollable. That is my assessment of the situation. That there was initial climb up on the structure, and it provoked the other car sevaks, and then the mob went out of control rather than somebody planned it or something. It could people might have thought about it on 4th or 5th of December that, oh, now it's a friendly government, and nobody can do anything to us. And yeah, we are 2 lakh people. They cannot be firing on 2 lakh people. Here is the chance to do it. Some people might have thought like that, but I don't think it was a planned act.
What you did you also see? He had mentioned about the Garuda and the Chakra and other remnants that were seen after the structure came down. Were you also able to witness any of what were the remnants? What were inside? Was it a revelation of what you all saw once the domes came down and the structure came down? What did you see after the structure came down there?
Yes, we saw one by one the domes were came down, and when the walls were removed and the debris was removed, I could actually see the idols, at least one idol that I saw, um, and apart from that, all the some plank with scriptures, something like that, which I could see uh, when we kind of dug little deeper. That is what I could see, and it was a very convincing thing to me, at least, that this structure was built after demolishing some temple, and that convinced that I mean I was convinced on that day, after seeing myself, that these things were buried deep under the structure, which were quite evidently the remnants of Hindu temple.
Okay. Finally, before we end, I just wanted to ask you all about like what was it when you went back homes after 6 December 92? Uh, Dr. Joshi, just wanted to ask you about you came back to Maharashtra, and Maharashtra we saw a lot of disturbances. And in fact, I was on train on December 6th night from Chennai, and by the time I reached Mumbai 8th morning, there was no way I could get out of the VT station and go to my hostel. And that was a scene it was like when we came back. So when you came back to Maharashtra, in terms of what you saw being written on media, what you saw in your neighborhood, what it was like.
Uh, on 8th of morning, army well, already the Kalyan Singh government was dismissed, and it was a central rule. So on 8th morning, we were whisked away from Ayodhya. Before that, of course, the then Prime Minister was appealing from television to now disperse all those who have gathered in Ayodhya and all that. But 8th morning, we started dispersing and leaving for our hometowns. Actually, I had third MBBS exam that time, and therefore I was not going to come back to Mumbai. Rather, I was going for that third MBBS exam, uh, which was in Loni, that is Ahmednagar district. So while on the journey back home, we heard that some organizations are likely to be banned as a in the aftermath of this, and there is a possibility of violence. Um, yeah, I mean that now started building up in the aftermath of uh, this 6th of December. But I got down at Nasik, and from there I went to Nagar district for my medical college exams. And the aftermath was uh, Mumbai, particularly, where I didn't come in the immediate aftermath of this incident, was burning. But I was in Nagar district that time, so it could not have been my first-hand experience to witness what happened post demolition.
But what you read or what you heard from your neighborhood, what was the reaction like?
Um, Mumbai and Maharashtra was dominated by the Shiv Sena's politics those days, and there was a statement. Actually, I remember a BJP leader, Mr. Sundar Singh Bhandari. He was asked in a press conference, uh, "Why did you do it? I mean, why did you all, means BJP people and RSS people, did this act of Babri Masjid demolition?" He said, "We didn't do it. Then the journalist asked the next question. Then who did it? It was just a evasive answering, probably that time. And uh, it's Mr. Sundar Singh Bandari said that I don't know who did it. Just evasive answering. Then the journalist asked, "Was it Shiv Sainiks?" He said, "Maybe." The next day, uh, uh, Sri Balasaheb Thackerayji asked, this question was asked to Sri Balasaheb Thackerayji. It is said by Sundar Singh Bandari that it was destroyed by Shiv Sainiks. And Balasaheb said, Honorable Balasaheb, that if it is really so, I'm proud of it. That is what he had said. If Babri was really demolished by Shiv Sainiks, I'm really proud of it. So I think in Mumbai and Maharashtra, Shiv Sena was at the forefront of this uh, post demolition time duration, I guess.
Okay. Rajarajanji, what was it like? Because as he said, there was a ban on RSS, and the offices were closed, and there was a period of this ban afterwards. So when you came back to Tamil Nadu after that, what was the scenario like? And what was the feeling of your colleagues, or whatever it is about your participation in the moment, and what did it feel like to be a Kar Sevak after that day?
Yes. When I returned back, I came to Chennai. After that, I came to Kanjipuram. That night, I stayed in the Kanjipuram bus stand. He was just roaming here and there. Next day morning, I wanted to see Kanji Mahaperiyava, but without taking bath, how to go there is a great sight. Without taking shower, and after doing this demolition, coming there, how to see them? Okay, next time we will see. I skipped seeing this Mahaperiyava and then returned back to Trichy, where my parents were staying. First, I took the treatment because of continuous coughing. Not even a single minute I was staying peacefully. Continuous coughing. So I took treatment, and then after 2 days, I came to Thuthukudi to join duty. Before coming to Thuthukudi, all people came to know that Rajarajan has gone to Kar Sevak. So I came there. Many people asked immediately. I did not disclose my customer experience to everybody. Yes, I told no. I went to some other work there in my native place. Like that, I was telling. Then I came to judge the situation because the situation maybe wasn't for me, different for me. I don't know. So then people are too much happy that I went to Kar Sevak. Then I heard that you went to Kar Sevak. Really, you did not go to Kar Sevak? What you did? Like that they are asking. I understand their happiness when I am telling I went to Kar Sevak. So people are happy. And I was afraid that my company may be different. Company may terminate my job like that. Naturally, this fear will be there. My company did not mind this one. When I get to Kar Sevak, they did not mind. Yes, we are having good already. Sangha work, RSS is having good relation with the management, and the management people are also attending our programs. So good understanding that they did not do anything. Then I disclosed all people are happy. Sangha was banned, RSS was banned, but our activities did not stop. Our open shaka was not conducted, but all our activities, home meetings, and going to places and explaining to our people, all the villages, we are explaining our experience and the importance of the Kar Seva, everything, and the correct perspective we are explaining to all the people. Then we are doing like this. All the works were done, regular meetings were there, only open shakas were not. All other activities were happening. And also our chief minister at the time, Madam Jayalalitha was there, she was not minding anything whether we conduct or not, we are working or not, we should not. So no restriction for our, no condition for our. We are doing it. Only because of Sangha was banned, our Adhikari is told don't conduct Shaka because it is banned. So we stopped the open Shaka. All other activities was going.
Okay.
It was happy. People are happy.
Okay. Finally, are you all waiting for the temple construction to get completed? Will you go back to Ayodhya, and what plans you have?
Definitely. It's our great fortune. After completion, we will go there with the family to have a darshan. It is our one of the life bhagyam, we can say. Jiva the Vakyam, we can say. We must have a darshan, and it is a happy occasion. It will be a happy occasion for us, most happiest occasion for us, you can say. All of you will tell. Already I have planned to organize our people to take to for darshan together. Hundreds of people will go there, have a darshan, going, singing the songs, coming there, Ramu Bhajan songs. It's a happy experience. So everybody should enjoy. Everybody should have the experience. I'm planning to organize.
And anyways, due to the
Sorry?
current times, nobody is invited for a large gathering. So that invite is now pending. The natural invite for the Ram temple, I take it as a pending invite to me, for me to go to Ayodhya. So at the when the construction is completed, and certainly it will be a privilege, that we have been associated with the movement, and Shri Ramji, uh, Maryada Purushottam Ramji, and we will be moving ahead in the direction of Ram Rajya, I guess. So after this, this is what we have aspired for all these years. So yes, fortunate
Okay.
moment.
Okay. You look at how do you look at your role in this? It's like that little squirrel that helped build the Ram Setu. So you all have been those little squirrel in getting this going.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. It's been my real pleasure talking to both of you to relive those days and to also look at one of the reasons why I wanted to speak to Kar Sevaks is the politics is talked about, being divisive is talked about, and all that. But those simple Kar Sevaks being ideologically drawn or even otherwise, I think that time everybody was looking for a leadership to go and join. It is not that I have to come from an ideological background to be part of the movement. I could have been just a Ram devotee who saw a leader somewhere and I joined the whole group. But I thought like I at least didn't read much about the Kar Sevaks. The 90 I had heard there were at least 3 to 4,000 of them, even when there was no entry possible to Ayodhya. Somehow 3 to 4,000 people had managed to join, and in '92 there have been lakhs. Uh, we hear about the Kotari brothers' unfortunate incident of their death, and we hear about those people who went without footwear for them, and there have been people who have been on vrat all their lives for the temple to happen and all that. But in the whole atmosphere, to look at those devotees, I thought just to make a small beginning, to look at those devotees who have been there for 30 years and 40 years and their lifetime for the temple to happen. So that's what I just wanted to at least bring a couple of them, and maybe this journey can go forward to go and meet Kar Sevaks from various states, maybe from Bengal, Assam, Jharkhand, and all other regions. So just that's what I was looking forward to. And thank you so much for participating today. And thanks to all my viewers to being there and my friends. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.